Hi, this is Judy Miller for JobInterviewSite.com. Surely one of the hardest questions asked in interviews concerned why you were fired from your previous job, if you recently were fired from a job. Can you please tell me, why were you fired? How would you explain the reasons and handle this delicate question in the best way you can? The good news is, you can answer this question in a way that doesn't make you look bad. Let's learn further. First, you are not the only one who was fired from a job. It happens. Like all things in life, getting fired is a reality. Sometimes the job was so pathetic that you were really happy that you were fired from it, while other times the job was really good for you and you tried your best not to get fired. Second, this is not a stigma anymore. The basic stigma of being a fired worker has changed its connotation over the past years. Just several years ago, if someone lost a job, it was most probably his or her own fault. However, these days, being fired means that you have everyone's sympathy. There are acceptable reasons for getting fired that you may communicate freely. Your response to this question is crucial to your success as a candidate. Although there are acceptable reasons for being fired, losing a job is not only an unpleasant situation, but it also might degrade your chances of getting hired if not explained well. Understand that how you answer holds the key to whether or not you'll be considered for the job. So, how should you explain the reason why you were fired? If you have recently been fired from your company, this question will pop up during the course of the interview. Read further. There are two well-known reasons for being fired. Number one, manpower cutbacks due to the company's financial problems, or differences, difficulties, and finally a divorce. Obviously, the first reason is easier to explain, while the second is much more complicated. Let us focus on the second. Needless to say, it's wise to prepare your answer well before the interview. Make the long story short. Tell the real reason you were fired. Adding that you learned from the experience is also a good, mature way to handle this question. Sometimes it is more important how you present the reason than the reason itself. Some guidelines are as follows. Explain the real reason by all means. However, it shouldn't sound like a confession. Don't lie. Lies can't be covered up, especially not these lies. Don't blame anyone from your previous job, not your bosses nor your colleagues. Provide a short and crisp answer. Check your body language and tone of voice when answering. First tip, a good basic approach would be, if you haven't met the job requirements, tell why, explain the differences and the unmet expectations. Give your learning experience. A second tip, being fired means that there were difficulties, misjudgments either on your part, your previous employer, or both. The interviewer, i.e., your new employer, will try his best to find out the reasons you were fired. If the reasons are acceptable ones, it can pass. If not, you're not going to be considered for the job. Simple as that. Third tip, try to keep a good relationship with your previous employer. You may need him. Though it sounds strange, if possible, try to keep in touch with your previous employer. Make sure that you have a cordial relationship with your employer during and after your employment. This is because most hiring managers these days ask for references. This is their way to get first-hand information about the nature of your relationship with your previous workplace. Fourth, never lay blame. If you have recently left a very stressful job, you might feel that it's okay to badmouth that job. Some may even think that saying bad things will bring sympathy. Sadly, that's not the case. Even if you have hard feelings regarding your previous employer, never disclose it to the interviewer. Remember that complaining about one employer in the presence of the other future employer puts a negative idea in the mind of the future employer. He'll think that just as you talk negatively about your former employer, you'll talk negatively about your new company. Good luck.